Should I go for the fall intake or the spring intake? This is an eternal debate. Today, I'm going to tell you which one is better definitively. I am Srikar Sanapareddy and I'm the co-founder of Gradvine. And we've helped thousands of students for both the fall intake and the spring intake to the best universities in the world. I'm going to bust some myths about both intakes and also tell you some hard truths. So stay tuned. Now this video is going to be in a different format. I'm going to make a statement which is commonly heard by a lot of you, and I'm going to tell you if that is fact or fiction, if it's a myth or the truth. Also, if you're planning to apply for the fall 2025 or spring 2025, then we've done dedicated timeline videos which you can access right here. Alright, so statement number 1. Spring intakes are easier to get in than the fall intake, or vice versa. Well, this is completely untrue and this is a myth. Here's why. Now sure, in terms of the number of people applying for the spring, there are fewer applicants and there is lesser competition. But also you have to understand that universities take far less candidates for the spring intake as opposed to the fall intake, which is a more traditional start of the academic year. Therefore, on average, we've seen that the acceptance rate sort of evens out. Now, there may be the odd occasion where somebody with a similar profile may have gotten in the spring and got rejected from the fall, but that's a case-by-case basis. There is no evidence to suggest that the spring intake has less competition. Statement number 2. If you go in the spring, you cannot get an internship. Well, this is also a myth, but there is some nuance to it and let me explain. Now, US visa rules state that in order for you to do an internship at an American company, you need to complete 2 semesters or 9 months of education at an American university. If you start in the spring, you're starting college in January. Therefore, you will not finish 2 semesters by the summer. Summer is the most popular time for internships in the US. Therefore, you will not be eligible for a summer internship because you haven't completed 9 months or 2 semesters by the American summer. However, this does not mean that you cannot get an internship. You can always do an internship after you finish your 2 semesters. Also, a few limited universities such as Carnegie Mellon have taken special permission for certain programs where you can get the CPT and do the summer internship after only 1 semester of education. So in terms of internship opportunities, even though it is a little inconvenient, it is absolutely not true that you cannot intern with a spring program. Sorry to barge in abruptly, but if you are enjoying this video, then we are hosting a webinar called the A to Z of Studying Abroad, for which you can sign up for absolutely free. In this webinar, we'll be covering application timelines, the best countries to do your masters, the most promising master's degrees, and how to ensure the best return on investment when you spend so much on a master's degree. You can sign up using the link in the description. Statement number 3. You will not get scholarships if you go for a spring intake. Again, absolutely untrue. Scholarships have nothing to do with the time of entry into college. Scholarships have more to do with the amount of budget that the university or department has to lend its students. Typically, scholarships are offered to students who get into programs with a little bit more research or technical aspects. If you're going into professional programs, which largely cater for students who are looking to get jobs in the US, scholarships are rare. Once again, it has nothing to do whether you're entering in the fall or the spring. Statement number 4. You are likely to get a visa rejection if you go in the spring. Once again, absolutely untrue. Visa has nothing to do with when you're starting college. The factors for you getting a student visa or not getting a student visa are constant irrespective of you starting in the spring or in the fall. As long as you get into a good university for a program that is relevant to your undergraduate degree and you're showing that you can afford and sponsor the degree effectively either through an education loan or through your own savings, you will get the visa irrespective. Alright, so finally, is fall better or spring better? Well, here I'm going to give you an it depends answer, but I'm going to give you a definitive statement to start. I would say the fall is marginally better than the spring still. Now here's why. The primary reason being, not every university will have a spring intake, but every university will have a fall intake for every program that they offer. It is the traditional start of the academic year and therefore your options are diversified. Now, if you're applying for a spring intake, you're automatically reducing the number of universities and programs open to you, and that's perhaps not a compromise you'd want to make. However, overall, in terms of internships, in terms of jobs, in terms of starting salaries and all other important factors, there's not too much of a difference between spring and fall. So therefore, if you have no choice but to start in January due to personal timelines, it's absolutely fine to apply to the spring. But if you're willing to wait and if you have the flexibility of the timeline, then fall gives you minor advantages overall. So I hope that answers your question definitively. Alright, I'm going to pause my points right here for a bit, because if you comment on the video below saying fall 2025 or spring 2025, we'll give you a neatly formatted PDF with intermediate milestones for the timelines for both these processes. So comment away. Now, if you found this video useful, please like, share and subscribe. This pushes the video up on the YouTube algorithm. Also, we've received nearly 2 million views overall over the last year, but our subscriber count is growing a little slowly. So if you like the content, please do subscribe. It will help us and help fellow applicants as well.